step back and be like, yeah, I must never do this again. Another thing that defines me is academics, academic excellence. I like getting good grades. I usually get good grades. I try hard to get good grades. When I was a homeschooler, I was a little bit even more obsessed about it. I remember, and I'm not going to say when, a little bit ago, I got 84 on a math test. There were a few tears. Yeah, that happened. More recently, I took an SAT and I got a pretty good score. I was quite happy. I kind of walked suavely and smoothly out of the lab and made my exit and sprinted to the field and jumped up and down and woo, sang songs and was like, yeah, yes. It was really fun. That happened. I hope nobody saw me. If you did, tell me later. Another thing is, but that's the positive side. That sometimes when in school I don't get stuff. Like I try to understand something and I don't understand it immediately. And that bothers me. Like I'm just my personality. It's one thing to like not, be able to accomplish something or really, hate doing work, but I hate not understanding. I hate not understanding. And it puts me like in a bad mood. I notice like if I do, physics class or something like that, and I don't understand something. The rest of the day, all my study halls, I'm just like, dang, idiot. Do any of this. Stupid. So I kind of like put a little bit too much in that, and it puts me in a good or bad mood, depending on how that looks like. Third thing that kind of defines who I am and what I do and what my identity often is, what I love to find these people. You guys know I love people. I love talking. Best times growing up were in Benin because we lived in Togo and all the kids were in Benin. And we go over like 5 or 6 times a year. And when we get through that phase, those were like sim conference. Woo! Alright, yeah. We know that kind of stuff. So it was great. And I had 2 best friends there. They're both named Joshua, actually. One was Australian, one was Swiss. And they're both pretty cool. But the same sim conference, like in the exact same couple days, I found out that both of them were going to be leaving. Like really soon. I was in like 7th grade or something like that. And it really kind of tore me up. And in the next year or so, they both did leave. And that was really not great. That's kind of what pushed me comes to hell. Like, I don't have any, friends per se left. Yeah, what is help? Anyways, I went to help. And, let's see. And it was basically just like, I decided that I came to hell and I was like, I wanted more friends. I wanted to kind of replace those. So, I did, but I got here and I tried really hard to be cool. I'm just going to warn you younger guys. It doesn't work trying to be cool. It's inversely proportional. If you know what that means. The harder you try to be cool, the less cool you are. I'm serious. I learned that way too late. I still always know that. So it's not worth it. But despite that, I still managed to make some friends. I have lots of friends here, still do. But last year, some special friends were some dorm guys. That I had, Kieran, Griffey, Gibson, Amelia, guys that were really close to me. And I really held as dear friends. And they all left, and I felt kind of like that hole that I'd been trying to fill just got, ripped open again. And I was like, this kind of sucks. I'm really tired of this. And I didn't become like, I heard a lot of people in that case, especially saying like, losing people, they get tired of it and they get bitter, and like, I don't want to make more friends, I want to trust people. I wasn't like that. I just realized like, for the umpteenth time that I was really tired of having things ripped away from me that I had really like put a huge portion of my life in and made my identity not be there anymore. I decided I couldn't identify myself and define myself and make my foundation people or anything else that would change. Guys, I want to encourage you. I think you know where I'm going with this. Make your identity Christ alone. Make him your foundation. He won't leave you. He won't change. You can't fail him. To the point that he won't forgive you. Everything else that I'm talking about, everything else that other people said, gave examples, Brian, Joe, Chuck, Rachel, things like that, they don't last, they just don't, and they won't be there for you when you need them sometimes, even though as sad as that is. Now there's nothing wrong with those, they're all great things, they're all part of who I am, they're all part of who you guys are, whatever yours are, and there's nothing wrong with them, but what do we really make our foundation, what do we let define us? I'm not talking about being a great Christian. I mean, I know a lot of people who are great Christians. I like to think myself as a great Christian. A lot of us think this, but it's not about being a great Christian. Because by that definition, we're just bringing back to my third point, which is people. If you try to be a great Christian, it's really like, I want other people to see I'm a good Christian, which is, putting your identity back in what people view you as. It's not great. I want to say, guys, your identity is not a good Christian, your identity is in Christ. You are God's child. You are Christ's co-heir, and you were worth dying for. If that's not your identity, what is? That is your identity. If there's something more important than that, then you are wrong, all caps. That's our foundational truth, so that's something we can cling to and we know that that is our identity. But how do we really, in our lives, make God our foundation? Everything in life has standards and expectations that need to be met. I mean, you guys know in sports, if I play sports and I stink at sports too many times, I'm probably going to doubt my identity in sports. If I'm getting F's on every test, I'm probably going to doubt my identity as such, and with people, if you treat people like crap, eventually people won't be there for you. That's how it works. So people have standards, things have standards and expectations, But I think we sometimes forget, we like to just gloss over, especially in our modern pushy Christianity, is that God has standards too. You can't truly make Him your foundation without living it out. Most of you guys are saved, I know I'm saved, but that's a little bit different. Are we just saved and have salvation, or can we make God the foundation of our life that we bring everything else under and submit to as such? We can usually tell what our foundations really are by our priorities. Which expectations do you choose to meet? Like studying for an SAT or an ICSE or whatever else is great, but if I'm choosing to do that all the time and I'm giving 3-minute Devo time to God every other day, that's a great thing, but my priorities are showing what my foundation, my identity really is, what I make. It's not super complicated. I'm going to read part of the verse again. It says really clearly, hear and obey, and you will not be shaken. Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and not do what I tell you? Everyone who comes to me, hears my words, and does them, I will show you what he is like. He is like a man building a house who dug deep and the foundation on the rock. But the one who hears and does not do them is like a man who built a house on the ground without a foundation. When the stream broke against it, immediately it fell, and the ruin of that house was great. It's not really complicated, guys. God says really clearly that we want to make Him our foundation. We have to hear His word and obey. You guys know what that means, what that looks like. I hope if you don't, you can talk to more knowledgeable people. We have some great adults and teachers in this room. Just really to understand what it means to get into God's word, to hear and obey, and to really become our foundation. Submit everything else, even the important stuff in your life, to God, and everything will fall into place. And it's really cool because if Christ is really your foundation, nothing else matters. And a few times in my life that I've achieved enlightenment, a few times in my life that I've really understood that, it's so freeing, because when you realize, just say those words like, nothing else matters, nothing else matters. When only one thing matters in your life, and you can never lose that thing can never be taken from you. You have your unshakable foundation. One last thing, with God, we have the freedom to fail. We can screw up again and again, and grace is sufficient for our needs. And our identity is secure, unlike other things. A lot of other things, like I said, if I get too many bad grades, I'm probably going to lose that part of my identity as a great scholar or whatever else it is. And if you treat people badly, you're going to lose people. But with God, His grace, every time we fail, and we will all fail, He has the grace to forgive us, and we can come back to Him if we want to. It's not to come back to Him, but He's such a good arms like every time. It's amazing. I'm personally very guilty of making my foundation for other things. I get so caught up in these things and so many others. I give lots of things priority over God, which, as I said, kind of defines what your priorities, what your foundations are. And I make a lot of things matter that don't matter. Nothing else matters. Yet He's always full of grace. There's no point being in the middle, guys. Seriously, I thought this, and I'm just this is often pushing you one way or the other, because there's no point being in the middle. Either decide right now that God doesn't exist, and make your identity whatever the heck you want, and whatever is the most fun for you right now, or decide that He does and make Him your all, your foundation, and you put everything else under. It's just stupid to be on the fence. It's stupid. It's not a good bet. One day, none of this will exist. And the only thing left from all of this will be your relationship with Christ. So, one more time, what is your identity then, and what is your foundation? Dear God, thank you for this time. Thank you for speaking this morning. Please help us all to have a great Friday, God. Please help us to remember what our identity truly is, God. Please help us to always keep everything in perspective. Nothing else matters. Each and every one of these lives, God, please touch them. Help them. Just remind them through your Holy Spirit, who has true power to put everything else at your feet and base themselves off the only thing that will ever matter.